All right, we're going to work on this problem, a needle in the haystack, an easier problem on Code Wars. We'll start by reading the problem description. Can you find the needle in the haystack? Write a function, find needle, that takes an array full of junk but containing one needle. After your function finds the needle, it should return a message as a string that says, found the needle at position, plus the index it found the needle. So, as an example, if we're given this array with hay, junk, hay, more junk, needle, random junk, then we return a message that says, found the needle at position 5. And the reason it's position 5 is because we count from the beginning, starting with 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's needle. Here's a note for anyone using COBOL. We're going to solve this problem in JavaScript, so we're just going to disregard this message here. So we come over here to write our code. We've already got the function signature lined up for us. That's the function keyword, the find needle name is of our function, and then this array that we're passing in, which we're calling haystack. So let's go ahead and we will set a variable for our where we're going to find needle, and we'll set that to, I guess we'll leave that undefined for now. And then let's make a single loop. We're going to say let I equals 0, I is less than haystack.length to visit every element in the array. We're going to go one element at a time, so we're going to do I++. And then first let's just do console.log haystack at I. And here we'll return index position. Now at this point, index position never does get defined, and so it's not really anything here. We're looking to see if our loop is doing what we think it should do, which is print out every item in the array. We have some tests down here. Let's go ahead and run our tests and see what we get. Okay, so for this first array, we see several things in the array here. Needle is at index 3. And we see 3 is printed out, and then this longer number, and then undefined, and then finally needle right here. And then it continues to go through the other elements in this array all the way here to false. So we don't want to just print this out, or rather, we don't want to print it out at all. We want to say if haystack at I, in other words, our current element, is equal to needle, then our index position is equal to I. And with that, let's take away our console here, and let's put it down here, and let's say console.log index position. You know what? I'm going to change the name of this. We're going to call this position of needle. In fact, let's call it index of needle. That sounds like a better name to me. Index of needle, index of needle. Great. So we set up our index, though we don't know what it is yet. We go through every item in our array. We check if the item is the string needle. If they're the same, then we're going to set our variable index of needle to I. We're going to console log it, and then we're going to return it. And we still don't have a working solution because our returns must have that other part of the string, which is found the needle at position. But let's give it a run and see where we're at. Okay, index position is not defined. I made a mistake here. I changed this variable everywhere but here. Let's give that one more run. Okay, here we get 3 is printed out and 3 is returned. And we can check this first array, which is what it's testing. 3, 0, or index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3 needle. Yep, that does look like where we want to be. So let's now take our console log out of here. And let's, when we're ready to return, let's add to our string. And let's grab this text right here. So we can say found the needle at position, and then the index of the needle. Let's go ahead and run that. Great, now we've got a working solution. We can take a look at our tests here. It just says that they've all passed. These are the tests that are provided down here. So we review, we say we set up the index where our needle will be found in the haystack. We write a loop that loops through every item in the haystack. We check if the current item is equal to needle. If it is, we go ahead and set our index, and then we return the string that they've told us found the needle at position, and then index of needle. There's one more thing we can do here, which is because we're only looking for one needle, as soon as we find it, we can use the keyword break. That will avoid continuing down the array. So let's run our test again, make sure that we are still passing. That looks very good. Here we have a very iterative approach going through this loop. Let's go ahead and click on attempt, and then we'll solve it a different way. Yep, looks like we're all good. We're ready to submit our code if that's what we want to do. However, try to use const whenever possible. So let's give ourselves a little challenge and see if we can write this solution a different way using const instead of let. Try to use const instead of let whenever possible. Now, this will require us to know a few more parts of JavaScript. The thing we're going to use is a method which will be haystack.indexOf. What indexOf does is it takes one parameter. It says, what are you looking for in this array? We're looking for the string needle. And then it's going to give us the index of that array. So again, we're going to use const index of needle is equal to haystack.indexOfNeedle. This should then be set to 3, and then we can bring in this line right here and return the position of it. So let's run that again. We see, yep, our tests are still passing. We'll click on attempt, and we're looking really good. So with that, I'm going to clean up here. We're going to get rid of all of those notes. Let's add our semicolon here, and we are ready to go. Here again, we have our variable index of needle. We can use const because we set it here and we never change it, unlike our other solution where we changed it inside of our loop. And then as soon as we have that, we're ready to return our final string, found the position at or plus index of needle. Again, I'm going to test that one more time. Looks good. Let's go to attempt. Great. And now we're ready to submit and move on to look at some other solutions. This will load up here in just a second. And great, we can see the top solution is very similar to ours. They just didn't assign this to a variable. I would encourage a style where you don't be afraid of adding variables. I think we're even nicer when we put a variable and we name this something that's easy to read. Although of course I think this reads fine. Here we have somebody who's writing kind of a joke solution. Obviously they're making it way harder than it needs to be. And again, here's a very similar solution to ours with haystack.indexOf. Here we come to a solution that was more like our first one with a loop, and then we get back to index of. So we'll stop there. We're going to say this is very similar to ours, and of course it's also the top solution. And I wish you the best of success as you continue through these problems.